Looking to improve your squad on Ultimate Team? Visit IGGM.com for safe and reliable coins with the link in the description. Use my promo code NA to get 5% off. What's up, guys? For this video, we're going to be talking about the 4-2-3-1 wide. And the 4-2-3-1 wide is really good, honestly. I feel like it's underutilized, underused. If you like formations like the 4-2-1-3 or the 4-4-1-1, then the 4-2-3-1 is going to be in the same category of meta. You still have your cam and you still have CDMs. It's just really that's all that's all you need to know about this formation. It corresponds with the meta of the game. So like I said, if you like those type of formations, then you like this one as well. But it's also the fact that you have left mids and right mids instead of left wingers and right wingers, which can make you if you have issues with like the 4-2-1-3, for example, if you have issues with build up, you might be better off using this formation. And like with the new player rules from the patch back in like January, I think it was, or December, then you're gonna have a really good midfield that are involved in every phase of the play. So they're gonna be really active defensively as well as offensively. So you get a really good balanced formation. Now, if I had to list out all the meta formations that you could qualify as the best in the game right now, you would obviously have this one in my opinion, and then you have the 4-2-1-3, the 4-4-1-1, the 4-4-2, and then from there I'm not really sure. Maybe the 4-5-1 or the 4-4 or sorry, the 4-1-4-1, but for the fifth one it can be anything, to be honest. Now, before I continue and show off the formation and the custom tactics, I just want to let you guys know, for the people that are not in the Discord, that we have a Discord server where we share a lot of custom tactics, more than just my own, but plenty of other members in the community share their own custom tactics. So if you'd like to share your own custom tactics, or if you'd like to see other custom tactics from players, then you can do so with the Discord with the link in the description. But yeah, with that being said, here are the custom tactics. I'll have the code in a bigger text on the top right. And as you can see, build up style balance, defensive approach high. Now, the defensive approach, I have it on 70 because I wanted to get a higher line than usual. The issue with, I'm not sure if I can present this as a fact, but as far as I know, I feel like the game has been, I don't know, maybe it's just servers or something, but the game has been tweaked basically every single week. It feels like every week I'm playing a different game. So I experiment with this a lot. So this right here, I want you guys to know that you can use whatever you're comfortable with. So if, let's say, you're using another formation that you felt like you had a really good defense and the defense approach on it was like 50, then use 50. Use what is comfortable for you. I was using let me see. I was using 91 earlier, and 91 is really useful. However, you have to be really you have to be paying a lot of attention. Like, you can open up a lot of spaces that you're going to have to cover yourself. Your AI are going to be really aggressive, as it says in the name, obviously. So that's when, if you're willing to just try really hard, sweat in terms of defense, cover a lot of holes, and let the AI press for you. Other than that, you can use 91, or you can use up to, I've seen people use up to 96. Um, or if you just want easy defense, but you have to, get the ball on your own. Maybe you prefer manual defending. 50s might be better off for you. Or if you're something in the middle, to be honest. Either way, the way I feel, you're gonna concede goals regardless. So I don't think this is a big deal. You can't really fight, against it. They're either a good defender or not, really. Custom tactics don't really change that, as far as I can say. Yeah. Player roles, advanced forward attack up front. That's very, very normal. Very self-explanatory. I don't think there's going to be ever a time where you're using a striker up front by himself and he doesn't have anything but advanced forward. It's just pretty good to have around the board, or across the board, I mean. Then you can have your cam, and again, this is another spot or another thing that I want you to basically change to whatever you're comfortable with. Now, personally, with Shadow Striker, I'm a big fan of it because, especially when you have one striker up front, this Shadow Striker will go to the left or to the right of the striker, and then your midfield will, step up. So I'm a huge fan of that. However, if you want, this is like the one thing you can change, within this custom tactic to fit your playstyle, because this formation around it is going to cover up for whatever you change this to. But since I have plus plus, I use Shadow Striker regardless. But let's say, for example, you wanted to if you wanted to do what I said, having a second striker effectively that is plugging the holes from left or to the right of the striker, then you can do that. Or if you want someone that is going to feed the striker, then you can put this on playmaker. And what this will do is, as you can see, the two DLPs right here, deep line playmakers on build up, they're going to step up and make a midfield three, like an actual midfield three in build up. So these three players are going to be very close, and that means you'll have a lot more passing options in build up. You're going to be able to have a lot of passing triangles, especially with the left mid and the right mid. So if you just want to build up around, take your opponents apart, playmaker is going to be really useful. And I don't really recommend anything else, to be honest, either Shadow Striker or playmaker. I'm not a fan of Classic 10 because he's basically like a Shadow Striker that doesn't make runs in behind. So if you want that type of movement, you might as well just go Shadow Striker. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Shadow Striker is going to literally act as a second striker. He's going to be next to the striker, if anything, more often than not. So if you want that presence, if you want that, actual cam presence, I'd recommend you use Playmaker. Or if you just want runs behind, counterattacking, then Shadow Striker is going to be really useful. Again, this is completely self-preference. Both of them, in my opinion, are going to be really good regardless. It just depends on your playstyle. So if you've used custom tactics before where you're better off with Playmaker, use Playmaker. If vice versa, use Shadow Striker. Or use both, switch them, play a couple games, go between the both of them, see which one you like more. You'll figure out which one you like. But yeah, I use Shadow Striker personally because that's my playstyle. Left mid, right mid, self-explanatory, inside forward balanced. Keep in mind that with this role right here, it's going to look different in game depending on who you have as a cam or what role you have on your cam. So if you have your player right here on Playmaker, you see that spot to the left and to the right of the striker, this player is going to occupy more often. They're already going to occupy it regardless, but like I said, since this player, if you have him on Shadow Striker, he's going to be taking advantage of the spaces to the left or to the right of the striker. It's going to mean that this player is less likely to go to the left or to the right of the striker. So sometimes, let's say this guy's to the left of Ronaldo right here, R9 right there. What this means is Vinny is basically not going to make as many runs. He's going to be an actual midfielder in build-up, so he's going to act in positions that deliver that pass to Rodgers or to Ronaldo, if that makes sense. So again, like I said, this is about your playstyle. If you want to feel like you have a front three rather than a front two, use Playmaker. And then these two players are going to be making the runs in behind more often. They're going to make runs in behind regardless, but it's about frequency, It's going to when you have it set up like this, as you can see on the screen, it's going to focus having this player, or sorry, like this I meant to say, it's going to focus on having these two front players being the goal threats while these players are supporting the goal threats while still scoring themselves whenever they see fit. Now that leaves us to let me just fix that. Leaves us to your two CDMs, and I really like having two CDMs, having them both on Playmaker build-up. As you can see right here, they step up really high, and in situations where you have the ball in the opponent's box, what this is going to look like is you're going to have these two guys at the edge of the box sometimes. It might not be both, sometimes it'll only be one, but it's basically like having center mids on Playmaker, but they're focused about defense as well. So if you have players here, make sure you have really good passing play styles on them. So incisive pass plus is going to be really useful. Long ball pass plus to chip balls behind the defensive line. You'll be able to set up your front line with really good balls if you can have the play styles here. And then your defensive line, fullback defend on both sides, because we do not need fullback stepping up anymore with how weird this game has felt post-patch. Or not, I can't even say post-patch anymore. I feel like there's basically a patch every single week. That's just how it feels like for me. But with how the game feels as of late, you can't afford having fullbacks going up the pitch anymore without compensating for it. What I mean by compensating for it is making sure that you have a formation that covers for a wing or a wing back or something like that, and this formation is not that, or the way I set it up at least, since you already have plenty of threats. You already have plenty of players stepping up in front of you anyway, so you're not going to need a wing back or something like that. But yeah, as is, all you need is 4 defenders that stay back and cover your defensive line, and goalkeeper, defend, but this is self-preference. What I want people to keep in mind is, like I said, I want you to switch the things that I noted to whatever makes you comfortable. So this includes 2 things. You have the defensive line. I want you to switch, or what was it called, defensive approach or whatever. I want you to switch that to whatever you're comfortable with. And your cam's role, switch that to whatever you're comfortable with. I want you to use what you're familiar with, because those are the 2 things where you can't really say there's a meta, because maybe you haven't seen. Everyone uses a different thing here. So whenever you see custom tactics being posted, sometimes you'll see a 50, sometimes I've seen 42 to 52, I've seen 96, 91, 70, 61. People are using whatever. There's no such thing as a meta here. However, there's going to be something that they find fits your playstyle the most. So I want you to find that, and if you can find that, use that to your strength, and just use that to begin with, if that makes sense. And the same goes for the cam. The thing with cam and Shadow Striker, Shadow Striker and Playmaker, they're both really good 10 out of 10 roles. Classic 10 and half winger aren't that good, to be honest, but Playmaker and Shadow Striker, since they both have really good strengths, then it really means that you can use whatever you want there. It's just a matter of making sure that you're used to it, making sure you have the playstyle for it. And like I said earlier, Playmaker is really good for being a passing option, while Shadow Striker is really good for being a goal-scoring option. So if you have a Playmaker, let's say you can get the incisive ball playstyle on them, or the plus especially, you're going to be able to set up your striker with so many good opportunities. While with the shadow striker, if you can have a player behind him to support him when he steps up, so like a center midfielder on playmaker or CDM on deep line playmaker, for example, then you're going to be able to set them up with chances as well. Both of them are going to be really OP. It's just a matter of making sure that your players outside of it set them up, but that's what makes a custom tactic good, you know? But yeah, other than that, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Join our Discord with the link in the description below if you haven't, and that's all.